Mike Popovitch and Tyson Foster, thank you. I want to start by asking about your superhero origin story for this podcast because pretty cool. How did it all come about? How did you guys meet each other, and how did you decide to start this podcast on everything Vermont Green FC?
I guess I can get into that. I started off as doing a Premier League podcast with a couple of friends. It was one of those COVID shutdown projects.
We need something to do.
Need get out of my wife's hair, get out of my kids' hair. So I started doing a podcast about my favorite Premier League team, and then once the Green were announced, I said, "This is a perfect opportunity." I did want to make sure that it was an absolute positive thing that this was happening. So I went to the first meetup and met the owners, met Patrick and Ferna, and I asked his permission. I wanted the Godfather's blessing, and he sure enough said, "Yeah, sure, do what you want to do, man. This is your club."
Fantastic.
So, and it didn't happen immediately. It took the whole season. I wanted to make sure that this club was going to stick around.
Right.
And
no flash in the pan here. You want to make sure it's got legs.
Exactly. Joined the supporters group, and went to a couple of games. Said, "This is amazing." I met a great group of people, and I just said, "This has to happen next season." So I just picked a few people that I really connected with. Tyson and our friend Will, and our other friend Tyler, who is kind of the de facto leader of the supporters group. And it just kind of started, and we built it, and the technology got better. We got better at our craft. And it started out very small, kind of just recapping games, previewing the next game, talking about some players. And it grew from there to the point where we're at now, where we're doing a full off season of interviews. So,
yeah, I heard about that. So Tyson, tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, first you're thinking, okay, we'll do it during the season. Was it sort of audience demand? Were people saying, "Hey, we want to talk about this more"? Or did you guys just say, "We are so passionate about this, we want to keep it going right into the off season"?
I mean, honestly, it's a little bit of both because, I mean, when we're, as Mike said, as we were kind of first starting out, kind of getting our feet wet at the whole podcasting thing, we kind of wanted to keep it to just kind of a game recap, maybe looking at something that's coming up. And then kind of as the games and seasons went on, we kind of got together and we're like, there's a lot more that we could be talking about here. Mike has actually done, especially this offseason, a great job in lining up guests who are, former players, coaches, people who are kind of a part of the game regionally here in Vermont. And, we've also had a couple of, out-of-state journalists who have wanted to, kind of talk to us and kind of expound on the Green because people just love this club.
They do love this club. And so for anybody who may just be coming to this and saying, okay, what's this all about here? Mike, you mentioned, going to these games. What's the atmosphere like at a Vermont Green FC game for somebody that's never been to one?
I think, the best way to describe it is it's a party. It's a party. It's a family-friendly party. We do have our supporters group that sits in the south end of the stands at Virtue Field.
Is that the boys? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that group was very small in the beginning, and we grew and grew and grew. And as the popularity of the team grew, in the social media that the team puts out, they do a great job of advertising themselves, not just through their mission, but through the way that their players play on the field, the way they look on the field, and it's attractive, right? So when we first kind of started going there, it was probably 15 of us, 20 of us every game. And it grew and grew, and it started out as that party, in the south end of the stands. That's kind of where we just placed ourselves. And then as the team got better, the team got more notoriety, the stands started to fill in all the way down to the end. And by the end of the third season, the entire stands, it's just a big party atmosphere. You bring your family, you bring your friends, you tell your friends about it. It's a big community group where we're all part of the same thing. That's Vermont Green. It's just about being part of one big thing.
So as the team grew and as the popularity grew, I have to imagine that your passion grew as well, as did the podcast. And that comes across in it, I would imagine. You must get so excited talking about this team, especially given the fact that they are national champs now.
Well, now, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's really changed. It's just, I think that the way we approach the podcast, we have to be true to ourselves, and we have to be true to the craft and to the team themselves, because the team changes, the players change, but the thing that's constant is the community and the green. So.
And the social mission, too, for this team. People should know they're very socially conscious. They're trying to be a zero emissions team, something I talked to Patrick Inferno about when the team first started. That mission's still going on. Do you guys talk about that stuff, too?
Yeah, and, we do make it a point to really acknowledge that is, kind of a founding core of the team. It's something that they talk about at every single match. At every single match, there is either a halftime speaker or a group of halftime speakers who are part of, different ways that you can try and actively live your life in a more environmentally conscious way. Or, they also have speakers who are part of local unions or who are part of local agencies that help with various different social issues that might be going on within the community. And it's something that, not just the greater Burlington community, but the greater Vermont, population really can get behind. And, something that I think is very important about kind of the timing of when Vermont Green launched was, coming right out of COVID.
Yeah.
It was people getting out of the isolation that they've been living in for, a couple of years. And it was just a great opportunity for people, like Mike said, to come together in this kind of third space. It's not your home. It's not work. It's not, a restaurant or a bar where you're going to have to shell out a lot of money to go and just be somewhere other than home or at work. And it was just kind of that craving for community that we think, a lot of people really saw, latched onto. And, that's just kind of something that we try and acknowledge and bring forward when we're doing our podcast, because when the team's not playing, we're still going to be part of that third space that's going and keeping you connected with either something interesting that's going on with the team, with players, or kind of the things that the team stands for.
Well, like you said, there's so much going on now beyond what happened during the season. They do win the national championship. Incredible. Everybody knows about that at this point. That came on the heels, of course, the UVM men winning the national championship in D1. I mean, all of a sudden, Vermont is like this soccer haven, which is pretty cool. But talk about some of the stuff you've been talking about on the podcast that's happened since that national championship. Some big stuff has happened with the team. Some new things are happening this upcoming season. Mike, what have you guys been talking about?
We've been talking a lot about the women's game.
Yeah.
For the past 2 seasons, we've had the honor of having a head coach and Sam Mewis leading the women's team through a couple of friendlies. And it quite honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest about it, the atmosphere at those games is just pretty amazing, and you get an entirely different group of folks that come to watch those games, and the soccer doesn't really seem that much different when you're there. The atmosphere isn't different, and it's because of the way that the club has cultivated, the fandom of Vermont Green, and what that means to be built around the community itself. So the women's game is a big part of what we actually have started talking about this season, and I'm very excited for it. We've had some player announcements. We have a new coach in Abby Carcio, who is a pretty amazing woman. We talked to her on the podcast and got to kind of got to kind of know her and talk about how she sees the game, and it's not necessarily any different than the way that Sam Mewis coached or the way that maybe Chris Taylor will coach. It's the mindset is the same.
Chris Taylor being the new men's coach for next season, right?
Well, he's the continuing head coach.
Right.
He was the
I'm
head
sorry,
coach
yes.
also during the national championship year. Yeah.
Right. So a lot of exciting things going on there. I do wonder if you talk about maybe the good problem of the team being so popular now and Virtue Field only holding so many people. A lot of people, that's why they had the lottery system for tickets this year for some of the bigger games. How do you see that issue moving forward?
I mean, it's something that is obviously going to be something that the team is going to have to think about long term. Virtue Field and UVM have been a fantastic partner. I'm sure that they're going to continue to be a fantastic partner going forward. But, with the fact that we're looking at the U.S. Open Cup, which is happening tomorrow, they had over 11,000 people looking for tickets to that game. Wow. And that is I think it was for 1,500 total tickets.
About 1,500.
About 1,500 total tickets were available for sale because us lucky season ticket holders have the U.S. Open Cup included in that season ticket package. There were over 10,000 people who applied to get their hands on the 1,250 season tickets for the upcoming women's season. So it's something that, just speaks to the amount of effort that the owners of Vermont Green have kind of put into building this club, into building something that tens of thousands want to come out and see. And, I do think that eventually they are going to have to come up with some kind of a solution to be able to accommodate this many people into a space to be able to watch Vermont Green. But it's a great problem to have.
It is a great problem to have. And, you mentioned the U.S. Open Cup. Big deal for this game tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Second time around this has happened for the team or first time?
Second time around.
Yeah.
The first time was 2 years ago. And we actually got to play Lexington SC out of Kentucky. And they came up and played us in what is going to be similar type weather.
Soccer weather.
Yes. Unfortunately, the folks from Portland are probably
a little bit
going
more
to be
used to that.
Hey, so are we. Come on, we're no strangers to bad weather in Vermont, right?
Very true.
So, and we won that game, and we got a second game at Virtue Field, and again played very well against another professional team in Carolina Core from the MLS Next program, and I think that the way that the teams are built for a pre-professional team like this, who is mostly college kids, kids that are trying to make it to the next level. I think that's where the challenges kind of lie for this upcoming game is how do you get those kids here, and how do you get them to get out of their college commitment. Because they're going into their preseason right now, in their spring preseason workouts, and I think that the owners, the founders, have done an amazing job. Adam Pfeiffer has done an amazing job recruiting these players that can come and play, not just for this Open Cup, but for this summer as well.
Got to talk about some context here. Again, for people who may not be familiar with how soccer works, and it can be a little confusing, the different tiers and whatnot. Vermont Green FC plays in USL 2. That, like you said, they are a pre-professional league, kind of semi-pro, I guess you could describe it as. But Portland Hearts of Pine, great name, by the way, who they're playing tomorrow, this team from Maine, they are a professional soccer club. They play in USL 1. That's kind of a big deal. And as you said, Vermont beat the Lexington team, right? Yeah. So they are good. That's how good they are.
Yeah, I think and I think it's very intentional. They go out and they search for the best players, and they're able to bring them in and impress upon them the vision that the coaches have, that the club has, and these kids that are coming to play for Vermont, are very easily moldable, I guess, impressionable, and they're able to be taught a system quickly because of the way that they have come up through their youth ranks. So they're very easily, put into different positions on the field or put into different systems that will work for the upcoming game. And they do it very quickly. And the coaching staff they have a tough job, but they're very, very good at it.
And what an opportunity for these kids too to play against players of that upper echelon level. It's experience that's invaluable, I would imagine, for these kids, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it really is to be able to kind of cut your teeth against professional opponents in a really meaningful game. The U.S. Open Cup is America's longest running soccer competition. I believe this year it's going to be the 111th iteration of the tournament. It's something that the founders of Vermont Green take very, very seriously. It's like the prestige competition. It's the equivalent of the FA Cup over in England, the Football Association Cup. You have pure amateur teams, you have semi-pro teams like Vermont, professional teams like Portland Hearts of Pine who compete in this. In theory, if Vermont goes all the way and wins this competition, which they probably won't, but we're here for the ride.
Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened, but if they win this tournament, they get a automatic qualification into, the CONCACAF Champions League?
Yeah.
An international competition with teams from North America, Mexico, and Central America.
Unbelievable. So quickly, predictions for the game tomorrow. Let's start with you, Tyson.
I mean, I think that this is going to be a gritty, brutal affair. I think that the temperatures are going to be dropping. That's what the forecast says. I think that the game plan against Hearts of Pine is going to be very similar to the game plan against Lexington, which is lots and lots of set pieces. I'm hoping for a 3-0 win. I would love a 2-1 victory.
Bold, Mike?
I feel kind of the same way that Tyson does. I feel like if Vermont, they do have a big opportunity here to play a team like Portland, who is an immense attacking team. Their head coach Bobby Murphy loves to push the action. I think if Vermont has the ability to defend well, and I believe that they will. They have always defended well. They have always played well in the midfield. And we can hit them on the counter, like Tyson said. The set pieces are going to be immense as well. Corner kicks, free kicks, throw-ins, that kind of thing. It's going to be all about positioning and defense. And I think that if we're able to do that, I think we come away with a 3-1 victory.
Well, however it shakes out, I can't wait to hear you guys talk about it on your podcast. Gives folks some details how they can find your podcast and, where they can tune in.
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube, United in Green Pod. On YouTube, we live stream every Thursday at 8 p.m., sometimes 7 p.m., depending on our guest, but generally every Thursday. And then you can also find us on Instagram, and on Blue Sky as well.
Mike Popovitch and Tyson Foster, thank you so much for being on the Sports Report, and go green.
Go
Up
green.
the green.